Your competitors are looking for a way to beat you. Your competitors are looking for a way to redefine the rules of the game and change the outcomes. They may be small competitors. There's so many times, well, we're a billion-dollar company. How could that million-dollar competitor beat us? Easy. If you've got to go 15 yards for every first down and they only have to go 5, who do you think's going to win over time? You see, that's why I love free enterprise, because leadership becomes so much more important. Business leadership says not only execute the play, but let's change the rules. Imagine if you can change the rules in business. And I want to go through a little bit more, and I want to end with a story on Sam Walton, because Sam Walton changed the rules of the game in discounting. Now today we hear Sam Walton and Walmart, we're like, oh, that's a big company, they got this problem, but that's not the Sam Walton I'm talking about. I'm talking about a Sam Walton that invested 95% of his money into the first Walmart, even though he had friends and family. None of them believed in what he was doing, so it took 95% of his money to start his first Walmart. Nobody believed that he would make it. And yet today, everybody, well, that's the biggest company in the world, blah, blah, blah. The reason it's the biggest company today is because he changed the rules and he created a culture of leadership. And he built leader after leader and store after store and a duplicatable system to create the empire that we know today. Now, I'm not here to sell Walmart, but I am here to sell the concept that if you're willing to do the same type of work, first of all, get a big vision for what you want to accomplish, and create a duplicatable game, create that culture of leadership, that you can do the same thing. And we keep talking about a game, but we know if you have a game, then the next thing you're going to ask is, well, what's the scoreboard? How do you score points in the game? Because without a scoreboard, there's no objective to determine whether we win or lose. And we want that outcome. We want to know how we win. Now, there's a gentleman by the name of Michael Gerber, and his book, E-Myth, is one of my top 5 all-time books when it comes to business. Let me just give you a couple quotes from that book. Michael Gerber said, people, your people, do not simply want to work for exciting people. They want to work for people who have created a clearly defined structure for acting in the world, a structure through which they can test themselves and be tested. Such a structure is called a game. And there is nothing more exciting than a well-conceived game. Now think about it. Many of you probably are working somewhere. Thank you. Where you work, is your work a game? Have they created such a culture that you know how to put points on the game where you work? Now, sadly, the answer most of you would say is, well, no, I got to go in there and I got to do this. And they say, well, we expect you to do your job and do your job, and then they have to discipline you. But can you imagine if it took discipline to get a sports team to do what it needed to do? Like, can you imagine if the coach came out there with a paddle and started whipping the players? There may be a few that wanted to do that. I'm not going to mention names. But that's really not the idea. A good game should be for the love of the game, that you would go and work harder for the game than you ever would for any job. And that's the same principle. Let me say further. Here's what Gerber said. The degree to which your people do what you want is the degree to which they buy into your game. And the degree to which they buy into your game doesn't depend on them, but on how well you communicate the game to them at the outset of your relationship, not after it's begun.